So, I injured my hand, which is obviously fantastic timing, considering I spent the last few weeks trying to play the talk on beta. Um, and I tried to force my way through the pain, but my hand just kind of said, absolutely not. And the jarring part is I kept thinking maybe the pain was the reason I wasn't enjoying these games. But then like a thought dropped in my head, and I was like, even when my hand isn't hurting, I'm not really having fun. And I had to say, I don't think I'm the only person who felt this way. So I've noticed this especially with fighting games, and especially anime games. Every new release looks incredible. The trailers are groundbreaking and amazing. The graphics are unbelievable sometimes. Huge rosters, great animations, but somehow I stopped playing after 2 weeks. So I have to ask myself why. I think more than anything, now we're chasing hype cycles instead of being excited for new releases. Everyone talks about games as if they're just this mega event, and everyone buys them, everyone streams them, myself included. Everyone posts the combo videos, the combo routes, the infinites, the loops, and then everyone says this is the best fighting game of all time. And then in 2 weeks, nobody's talking about it. I think the same thing has happened with Sparking Zero for a time. We focused on its visuals, we focused on how it's going to bring nostalgia back for the Dragon Ball franchise. But then everyone took it way too seriously. They took it as this big press event instead of a revival of a franchise that people have been waiting years and decades for, really. And then we look at Avatar Legends, which I think has been spoken about in a much more positive light, where people are thinking again, let's support the smaller fighting game. Let's support an IP we love. Let's play the game. Let's have fun. And then, unfortunately, the publishers let us down because they force developers into releasing a game that's not entirely ready. Um, People are again over stressing the need for a ranked mode. The need for a spectate mode, I think, is quite critical, especially in a fighting game that you want to be playing with your friends, that you want to be playing with a bunch of people. But still, we kind of put so much faith in this game being the next competitive master that it loses all its fun. So I started self reflecting and started thinking about whether I'm buying these games to buy into moments or whether I'm actually trying to purchase a game that I can enjoy for a long time and it be sustainable and it be something that I enjoy for years after years. I often look to Dragon Ball Fighters, which when that game released, initially I didn't purchase it because it wasn't like the Dragon Ball games that I was used to. It wasn't a party game. It didn't include like these overly dramatic art styles or animations that you would have saw in a Tenkaichi. And then when I picked it up years later, just as a fun Dragon Ball game to play and enjoy, maybe learn, get good at it, whatever the case, I found myself enjoying it much more. And I think that's kind of where we come to a juxtaposition. Licensed games, people forget why they love the license. You know, they want a licensed Dragon Ball game, they want a licensed Avatar game, they want a licensed Bleach game, they want a licensed Jujutsu Kaisen game, whatever it may be. People are forgetting that they're playing these games because they love the IP, not that they want a super competitive, Evo worthy fighting game with like the highest mechanics and robot netcode and all of these other things. We spin that around and we start looking at Sparking Zero and the publishers and developers hosting a tournament for a game that isn't designed for competitive gameplay, and had the most embarrassing moment where they ran a tournament where players were just ascending and descending and using the androids to absorb energy, and that was, we all remember that was a shit show. But Did they focus on, the beam struggles? Did they focus on the what if stories? I mean, I feel like they did, but it was just overshadowed by what Spark and Zero could bring as a competitive game. And that contributes to the overall sense of fighting games just being incredibly intimidating. Um, Even as someone who plays fighting games to I mean, and guys, do not take this seriously because I'm not a competitive fighting game player, but I can play some of them at a competitive level. Um, they become intimidating to even me. Like certain games get announced or get released, and I just look at them and think, "Oh, can I pick this up quickly? Will I be able to learn combos and get on ranked and win matches as easily as I can with fighters or Mortal Kombat or whatever the game may be, or Tekken even?" And it just kind of it takes a bit of joy out of the game. And don't get me wrong, I feel like competitiveness in games, in fighting games particularly, is important. I think it is a key part of what makes these games good. And I think everyone is entitled to their own sense of fun within fighting games and why they feel good. Because, I mean, inherently by nature, a fighting game is going to be competitive, but you have to take all of that with a pinch of salt. You have to look granularly at what this game is supposed to be. Again, do you know what? I'll bring up my friend Bisk. Bisk, if you don't know who he is, I'll link his channel down below. But he's an amazing fighting game content creator. Me and him have played games, fighting games, all kinds of fighting games, especially anime games. We love to play those together. We played Ultimate Ninja Storm, Kill la Kill If, Tenkaichi. We played Spark and Zero. We played Demon Slayer. Whatever fighting game is out there, you name it, we would have played. And our love for these games really comes from playing these games together. Like, and the OTA crew, me, Soldier, Biss, podcast, everything of that came out of us playing games, came out of us meeting Soldier through playing Ninja Storm and just sitting and party for hours and having games and talking about, this player is better than this is that. And we're not talking about frame data. We're not talking about the tier list. We're not talking about the meta. We're just having a good time with these games. And I think if every new fighting game could inspire that level of interest and hope amongst a new player, then they're actually really set up for success. This is something that they can really achieve quite easily. Yeah, we just need more games where even if you lose, you're having a good time. So then I looked at Tokon. It's so funny as well because if you look back on the streams that I did during that open beta, I played rank and the rage and like frustration that I was feeling was really quite intense. And I didn't really understand why. Like, I didn't understand why I was getting rage baited by a Marvel fighting game made by Arxis, one of the greatest fighting game developers of all time. And I remember just thinking one thing that I kept on coming back to was, oh, the auto combo. Like they do this, and this, and they can just auto combo and win. Whilst I'm trying to like learn combo routes and I'm not getting rewarded for it. And it made me realize that I was missing the point. Like the auto combos are for the people who just love a Marvel property and want to play a Marvel fighting game. For kids who played Marvel vs. Capcom 1, 2, and 3 in their youth, and want a new game that they can play. For people who just want to see all these characters in action and, do their special moves at the end of a combo route, they're entitled to as much fun. And they probably are having more fun than I was having because I was stressing trying to optimize combos, trying to figure out how to pick up assists and everything, when I could have just been playing the game and having a good time. I love Marvel. I love the property. I love the fact that we've got a fighting game made by Arxis who, created Fires, which is one of the only fighting games that I would say I'm like actually seriously competitive at. And it wasn't through a need or want to be competitive. It was just the fact that I enjoyed the game so much that I played it all the time and instinctively got better. So yeah, I just come to the realization that it's not these games that are the problem. It's us as players, it's us as fans. The mentality has changed. We aren't looking for the funnest time. We're looking for the video game with the most complete set of features. On top of everything else, we've got older, we have jobs, there's so much going on in this world. And that instant gratification that we would have just taken from playing the game and seeing the animations and having a good old time, we now seek in other ways by climbing the ranks, by learning TOD combos and everything like that. I think we just need to lock back in to what the purpose of playing these games are, and that's simply just to have fun. To end on something hopeful, I don't think gaming needs fixing. I think the industry and the way AAA publishers operate, there's such a competitive nature in the industry that it's leaking into games. Same with Avatar Legends, but it was released in an incomplete state, but due to pressure from Paramount Games, due to pressure from Paramount Studios trying to release the game in sync with a film and relaunching a new property. There's so much that influences the nature of a video game. And I just think we need to focus on making games fun again. Don't get me wrong, I know there's a bottom line. I know that there's money to be made, there's revenue expectations, there's people to be paid. But I don't think I miss old games. I don't think new games are broken. I think I just miss how old games made me feel.